The story begins with a chaotic space battle. The human fleet is being torn apart by the alien Kvarth coalition, who are attacking with their advanced warships. The camera zooms in on Captain Elias Riker, a young and skilled human pilot, piloting a small, heavily damaged fighter ship. His control panel flashes red with warnings, and sparks fly from his ship's systems. Explosions rock the cockpit as alien missiles slam into his ship, sending it into a deadly spin. His co-pilot, Luna, urgently warns him, "Captain, your shields are failing. You need to retreat now." But Riker doesn't flinch. His mind is set. He knows that humanity's fate rests on his shoulders. "No," he responds, his voice steady despite the chaos. "I'm holding the line. We buy the colony more time. I'm not backing down." The Kvarth, technologically superior and ruthless, have been wiping out human colonies across the galaxy. They are on a mission to erase humanity once and for all. Riker's mission is simple: survive long enough for reinforcements to arrive and prevent the Kvarth from wiping out an entire human colony. The odds are stacked against him, but his heart beats with a deep determination. As the battle rages on, the camera cuts to the Kvarth flagship in the distance, a massive warship floating ominously in the void of space. Inside, the alien commander, Ziranak, watches the battle unfold on her large screen. She has seen human pilots before and finds them predictable, no match for the Kvarth's superior tech. But now, as she watches Riker's ship skillfully dodging incoming fire, she feels something different. She smiles coldly, her fingers tapping against the armrest of her chair. It's just a matter of time. He won't last, she mutters under her breath. She watches him closely, waiting for his inevitable failure. Back in Riker's cockpit, the ship swerves and jerks as he dodges yet another barrage of missiles. He can feel the sweat on his forehead as the ship's shields flicker, barely holding together. The display shows the countdown to his fuel reserves running out. The ship's engine struggles to stay online, each burst of speed costing precious resources. Luna reminds him, "Captain, your energy reserves are critically low. We need to retreat." Riker's response is quick. "We don't run. Not today." He fires his blasters, taking down one of the alien ships tailing him. The alien craft bursts into flames, but more come. More Kvarth fighters emerge from the depths of space, surrounding him from all sides. He can't outrun them, but he doesn't need to outrun them. He needs to outthink them. Riker pulls a risky move. He dives straight into the debris of a destroyed space station, weaving his ship through the wreckage. His mind races, calculating every angle. The Kvarth are more powerful, but he's faster, more agile, and human ingenuity is his greatest weapon. His ship zips through the station's broken pieces, narrowly avoiding collisions with twisted metal and huge chunks of debris. The Kvarth, less skilled at navigating tight spaces, struggle to keep up. In a desperate move, Riker activates the cloaking device hidden in his ship. The ship flickers and disappears from sight, blending in with the debris around it. For a moment, Riker holds his breath, hoping that the Kvarth don't detect him. He knows it's only a temporary solution, but it gives him a few precious seconds to plan his next move. Ziranak orders her fleet to scan for the cloaked ship, but it's too late. Riker emerges from the shadows, attacking one of the Kvarth fighters. Blaster fire rips through the alien ship, sending it spinning into the void. Riker's grin flashes across the screen. He's still in the game. The Kvarth are no longer confident they have him cornered. But just as the fight seems to turn in his favor, a new threat arises. The Kvarth flagship fires a massive orbital bombardment, targeting his location. Explosions begin to rain down around Riker's ship, tearing up the space station debris. The camera shakes with every impact. His ship jerks violently as one of the blasts nearly rips through the hull. He holds tight to the controls, struggling to maintain control. "Stay with me, Luna," he whispers, his hand steady on the controls. "We're getting out of this." Luna responds with a calculated calmness, calculating escape route. Now, in a split-second decision, Riker uses the remaining power in his ship's engines to make a sharp turn, dodging the incoming fire just in time. He zooms through the fiery debris field as if he's danced with death before, escaping the bombardment. The Kvarth are now watching him closely, aware that this human pilot is not like the others. He's unpredictable, he's daring, and he's proving that human willpower can go toe-to-toe with the most advanced aliens in the galaxy. As Riker's ship speeds through the void, the camera pulls back, showing the vastness of space. It's a perfect moment for the audience to feel the immensity of the struggle, the odds stacked against him, and the heart-pounding excitement of Riker's survival against all odds. The suspense builds as the Kvarth close in, but Riker grins. The audience can feel that this is just the beginning of an epic showdown. As the battle rages on, Captain Riker fights with every ounce of his skill, using the environment to outsmart the superior Kvarth forces. His ship zips through an asteroid field, darting in and out of the floating rocks, forcing the alien ships to follow him into the treacherous space. The asteroids smash into enemy fighters, taking them out one by one. But Riker knows this is only a temporary solution. He's running out of time. Luna, his co-pilot, keeps him focused. "Captain, you're burning through fuel at a dangerous rate. We need to find a way out of this field before we lose power completely." Her calm voice contrasts with the chaos around them, and Riker relies on her wisdom to stay grounded. Riker's thoughts drift for a moment as flashbacks of his past flash before his eyes. He remembers his first battle, the pain of losing friends, and the faces of fallen comrades like Bonner, who had been his closest friend. The memory drives him forward, pushing him to keep fighting, even when the odds are slim. He tightens his grip on the controls, his eyes blazing with determination. "For them," he whispers. Just then, the ship's cloaking device, a new piece of human technology, activates. The ship disappears from view, blending into the deep blackness of space. For a brief moment, the Kvarth can't find him. Riker takes advantage of this, slipping past the aliens undetected. Ziranak, watching from her flagship, curses as her trackers fail. She orders another round of scans, but Riker has already moved, his ship now a ghost in the shadows. But the Kvarth are relentless. They send wave after wave of ships, surrounding Riker from every direction. Ziranak watches, still convinced that it's only a matter of time before they corner him. "He can't run forever," she mutters, underestimating his will to survive. Riker isn't done yet. He activates his ship's hacking system, infiltrating the Kvarth's communication network. He sends out false signals, tricking the Kvarth into thinking they've got him trapped on one side of the asteroid field, while he's already on the other. He grins as his plan works perfectly, taking out another alien fighter in the process. In the next moment, he pulls off a near-impossible stunt, slingshotting his ship around a nearby moon, using its gravity to propel himself at lightning speed. The alien ships can barely keep up, and Riker laughs, feeling the adrenaline rush through his veins. Ziranak, furious, orders all ships to close in, but Riker is always one step ahead, his every move a surprise. He uses everything he has, his knowledge of space, his reflexes, and his resolve, to outmaneuver the Kvarth, refusing to give up, no matter how many times they try to corner him. With each victory, his confidence grows. He's not just surviving, he's fighting back. And for the first time in this battle, the Kvarth are starting to question their superiority. The battle has reached its peak. Captain Elias Riker finds himself cornered. The Kvarth have surrounded him, their ships closing in from every direction. His fuel is almost gone, his ship's hull is battered, and the shield systems are nearly fried. Riker knows this is the final stretch, and he has no room to run. He's outgunned, outnumbered, and his chances of survival seem slim. But Riker isn't one to back down. With a final glance at the control panel, Riker makes a decision. He activates a risky experimental weapon that humanity has just barely perfected, a holographic decoy system. The ship's exterior flickers, and in a flash, dozens of holographic copies of his ship appear, scattered across space. It's a desperate move, but it's his only chance. The Kvarth ships are now confused, firing at decoys, while Riker's real ship slips away for a split second. The tension is high as Riker dives into the heart of the battle. He zooms between the decoys, dodging blasts and using the chaos to his advantage. Explosions light up the backdrop, and each time a Kvarth ship fires, it misses its target, striking only the holographic copies. Riker doesn't have much time before the decoys disappear, but it's enough to get him a head start. The close quarters combat begins. Riker locks onto an alien fighter, his hands moving instinctively over the controls as he performs daring aerial stunts. He weaves in and out of enemy ships, turning the fight into a deadly dance. The sound of blaster fire fills the air, and explosions rock the space around him. The visuals are stunning, as his ship twists and turns, narrowly avoiding death at every turn. Despite the odds, Riker's skills shine through. His ship barrels toward an enemy fighter, his guns blazing. The alien ship explodes in a burst of fire, sending debris flying in all directions. Riker doesn't stop, moving fluidly from one fight to the next, taking out Kvarth fighters with precision and skill. His movements are quick, decisive, and with every turn, the battle feels more like a choreographed cinematic sequence. As the chaos continues, Ziranak, the Kvarth commander, appears. She's ready to end this once and for all. Her flagship looms large in the background, and she orders her ships to concentrate all firepower on Riker. She believes he's at his end, his ship barely functional, but Riker has one more move up his sleeve. In an unexpected move, Riker uses his ship's damaged but still operational thrusters to propel himself into a wild, dangerous maneuver. He slams his ship into a sharp roll, dodging a direct hit from Ziranak's flagship and flying underneath the alien ship's weapons range. The Kvarth commander watches in disbelief as Riker outmaneuvers her with ease. With one final, well-timed shot, Riker fires at the weak spot of Ziranak's flagship, causing a massive explosion. Ziranak's ship is destroyed, and the remaining Kvarth fighters scatter, disoriented and panicked. Riker's heart pounds as his ship slows to a stop, the adrenaline still surging through him. The battle is over, and against all odds, Riker has won. The moment of victory is surreal. Riker's ship, barely holding together, drifts in the quiet aftermath of the chaos. Ziranak, the leader of the Kvarth, has been defeated, and the humans have proven that they can stand against the might of their technologically superior enemies. The victory is personal for Riker. It's the culmination of his journey, the ultimate test of his skills and courage. Even he is surprised by how far he's come. As the scene fades, Riker takes a deep breath, knowing that the fight is far from over. But for now, this moment of triumph is enough. As the battle fades into silence, the camera cuts to Captain Ilias Riker sitting alone in his battered ship. Bloodied, exhausted, and still gripping the controls, he looks at the wreckage of the battlefield surrounding him. His body aches from the constant strain, his hands stiff from the controls, but it's the weight of loss that presses hardest on his chest. He's won the fight, but the victory feels hollow. In the quiet aftermath, his mind drifts to Bonner, his closest comrade who had died earlier in the battle. The image of Bonner's face flashes before his eyes. His best friend, the one who had always been by his side. Bonner had sacrificed himself so that Riker could keep fighting, buying him enough time to make the final move against the Kvarth. The memory of Bonner's bravery haunts Riker. He clutches his fists tightly, feeling the loss as if it were a wound inside him that will never fully heal. Riker's gaze shifts to the destruction around him. The once vibrant colony that had been the Kvarth's target is now reduced to rubble. Debris floats aimlessly in space, the broken remains of human ships and Kivarth fighters scattered in every direction. The cost of victory is all around him. Yes, the Kivarth have retreated, humiliated and defeated. But at what price? As human reinforcements finally arrive on the scene, Riker watches the familiar faces of his fellow soldiers. They cheer, their voices loud over the comms, but Riker doesn't join them. Victory, to him, is not something to celebrate. The price of it weighs heavily on him. He thinks of Bonner and the other men and women he has lost in this war. The quiet loss of friends he'll never see again. He remembers the faces of the fallen comrades who won't be there to share this victory with him. As the human ships move into position, Riker is left with a thought that nags at him. This battle was just the beginning. The Kivarth may have been pushed back, but they won't stop coming. They'll regroup, rearm, and find new ways to bring humanity to its knees. The fight is far from over. And yet, Riker feels a strange sense of resolve. This victory, though bittersweet, has sent a message across the galaxy. Humanity is not weak. We are not helpless. Riker looks out at the stars, the remnants of the battle still floating in the distance. He speaks softly to himself. We'll keep fighting, no matter how many of us fall, no matter how powerful they are. We'll fight back. The message is clear, and the future for humanity, though uncertain, is filled with a renewed hope. A hope that comes from knowing that even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity has the strength to survive, to resist, and to fight for a future where freedom is earned, not given. The battle is over, and the war-torn space before Captain Elias Riker tells the story of all the pain and sacrifice that came before this moment. As the human reinforcements continue to secure the area, Riker stands at the front of his crew, battered and bruised, but with a fire still burning in his eyes. His ship is barely functioning, but his resolve is stronger than ever. The victory is hard won, and the aftermath of the fight is everywhere. Scorched ships, shattered colonies, and the haunting memories of lost comrades. Yet, in the silence after the storm, there's something else. Hope. Riker, though weary, knows what comes next. He gathers his remaining forces for one final message. Standing in front of the battered soldiers and civilians, his voice rings out through the speaker, clear and resolute. We are the underdogs, but we will never be ruled. We may have lost many, but we are still standing. And as long as we stand, we fight. His words echo through the ranks, and the tension of the battle fades as the soldiers raise their heads, their resolve strengthened. The unity that binds them is unbreakable. They may be a small force, but they are not weak. Riker's words filled the soldiers with a renewed sense of purpose, and despite everything they've lost, they feel empowered, ready to face the next battle together. The camera pans across the faces of his crew, each one determined to keep fighting. The war isn't over, but for the first time, hope is stronger than fear. In the background, the visual storytelling speaks volumes. The remains of destroyed ships and cities are stark against the blackness of space, but as the camera pulls back, we see something else. Humanity is rebuilding. Workers are salvaging wreckage, while engineers and soldiers work side by side, determined to fix what was broken. The resilience of the human spirit is symbolized in the slow but steady rebuilding process. Life finds a way, even in the darkest of times. The final moments of the story are a reflection of the ongoing battle between good and evil. Riker and his forces have proven that courage, ingenuity, and unity can overcome even the most advanced and oppressive technological forces. The AI supremacy that once seemed invincible is no match for the strength of humanity's spirit and willpower. The Kivarth, despite their technological superiority, have been pushed back, and humanity has taken a bold stand. Riker's victory, though hard won, sends a clear message. Humanity will not bow down to oppression. As the story closes, Riker's speech lingers in the air, and the camera pulls away from the crew. They are ready to face whatever comes next. The galaxy may be a dark place, but humanity has shown it will never stop fighting for its future. With hope in their hearts and strength in their hands, the humans are ready for the next chapter in their fight for survival. The screen fades to black, leaving the audience with the satisfaction of knowing that this is just the beginning.